Today on April 28th is National Superhero Day, and honestly there was only one film I could talk about. Because saying the Avengers is important to superhero movie history is an understatement. Something like this had never been attempted before. Sure, the team works in comic books, but to bring all of these characters together on screen from completely different films, different tones, different worlds, and actually make it work, that was no small feat. This film was a risk, a huge risk. It could have completely fallen apart. But somehow, Marvel Studios didn't just pull it off, they hit it out of the park. And before we assemble, if you enjoy reviews that go beyond just it was good, and really get into why these films work, drop a like and consider subscribing. So let's get into The Avengers. Looking back now, it's easy to take this film for granted, but at the time, this was unheard of. This is the first MCU film released after Disney acquired Marvel, and you can feel that scale immediately. It's also the first time we get the iconic Marvel logo intro, and even now it still hits. But for me, the excitement came from phase 1. I'd watched all of the origin films. Out of all of them, Tony Stark was undoubtedly my favourite character. So going into this, I couldn't wait to see how he would bounce off the rest of the team. Not just fight alongside them, but interact with them. That's what I was most excited about, and the film absolutely delivers on that. So, what it does so well is introduce each character in a way that feels natural, without ever slowing anything down. You've got Tony Stark walking into every scene with that effortless confidence. Then Steve Rogers, who still feels like he doesn't quite belong in this world. This film obviously picks up where Captain America, the first Avenger, ended. And then Thor bringing that larger-than-life presence into a very grounded setting. But one of the standouts for me, and one of the changes made for this film, is Mark Ruffalo being introduced as Bruce Banner. This is the version that finally clicked, at least for me. There's a nervous energy to him, like he's constantly trying to stay in control, and you know at any moment that control could slip. It just adds so much tension to the character that I feel that Edward Norton never portrayed very well. And then of course Robert Downey Jr. comes back as Tony Stark, and he is so good in this film. Everything feels effortless, the timing, the delivery, it just all lands. Lines like,
"Doth mother know you weareth her drapes?"
still cracks me up every single time. And then calling Thor Point Break, it's just perfect. Every line he speaks is golden. But what really makes the humour work so well is that it's so natural to the characters. These are big personalities, big egos, and when you put them into a room together, of course they're going to clash. And that's where the fun is in The Avengers. Visually, this film is gorgeous. The entire thing is a feast for the eyes. It's bright, it's vibrant, it pops in a way that makes everything feel larger than life, but still grounded enough to follow. And then you've got moments like Tony flying into Germany, blasting AC/DC, interrupting Loki and Cap's fight. It's cocky, it's bold, but it's so Tony Stark. But what really elevates the film is how the team comes together, or doesn't at first. Because they don't instantly click, they clash. That first meeting between Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor is just chaos, but it tells you everything that you need to know. These are leaders, people used to doing things their own way. So when they're forced to work together, there's friction between them. And that's what makes it so satisfying when they finally come together later on in the movie, because it feels earned. And then you've got the Hulk. For me, this is the best Hulk has ever looked. More importantly, it's the way the film builds up to him. It holds him back just enough so that when he finally transforms, it hits exactly how it should. And from that moment, every Hulk scene just delivers. You've also got Loki, who is such a great villain here. He's manipulative, unpredictable, and just enough of a threat to keep the team on edge the entire time. And then we get to the Battle of New York. And I still remember the first time watching it and just having a massive grin across my face. That moment where the camera spins around the team as they finally stand and are fighting together was the perfect shot. That wasn't just a cool moment, it was the payoff to everything we had been building towards. Every character gets their moment, every storyline comes together, the dots start connecting, the end credit scenes from the previous films is exactly what you wanted, and somehow even better. And the craziest part, this was still only just the beginning. The end credit scene teasing Thanos, at the time it was just a hint. Marvel didn't even know where they were going with this. But now we know where it led to, and it all started here. This film should not have worked. It was too ambitious, too risky, too many moving parts, but it did work. And it didn't just work, it changed everything for the superhero genre. And here's the crazy part. This isn't even my favourite Avengers movie. But there's no denying it that this is a perfect film. So for me, The Avengers is a 5 out of 5. If you've enjoyed this review, drop a like, it really does help. And if you enjoy content like this, especially revisiting films that defined cinema, then make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on what's coming next. But let me know in the comments, where does the Avengers rank for you within the MCU? Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you at the next one.